Hey B-Motel fans, stans, and your casual YouTube subscribers. My name is Andres LaFresia, and today I'm going to be talking about how B-Motel, a musical that when it first started seemed like it was at the top of the world, breaking records, getting all this press publicity from CBS to Good Morning America to closing after less than 6 months. So today I'm here to answer the biggest question and one that some people might not understand. And that's exactly, why did B-Motel close? But to examine exactly why Beam Chill didn't work on Broadway, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. I'm talking the beginning, starting with the Two River production in 2015. So Beam Chill opened in Two River Theater at Red Bank, New Jersey in 2015, where it got a really bad New York Times review and is basically the reason why it didn't go on after its New Jersey run. Now, while people really enjoyed it, including teenagers and young people, adults clearly did not understand what Be More Chill was or its music. The producers, realizing that the show would not be moving on after New Jersey, decided to record a cast album that was released in October of that year. It got okay streams, but for the most part, it was kind of just left to die and be listened to, I guess. And that was until 2017 when everything changed. So as you can see, in late 2017, Beam Show started to get even more and more popular. The creatives were absolutely stunned with how popular the show had gotten, and many questioned why exactly the show had gotten so popular. My personal opinion, and the creatives also agree with it, is that it was because of Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen. Both shows ushered in a new wave of theater fans that were into social media and were young and youthful. The views for the Michael in the Bathroom video, along with fan animatics and fan-made music videos and homemade art, were only growing and getting bigger day by day. The passion and creativity that had gone into all these drawings, along with all of the fans, clearly showed the creatives that this was a show that was worth fighting for and worth being brought back on stage. The show gained almost 250 and has now grown to 300. Eventually, the show was brought back to off-Broadway for a limited run through September, and fans were, to say the least, excited. I was also super excited because I was obsessed off-Broadway and received mixed reviews from critics and a pan from the New York Times. But it sold out its entire off-Broadway run and was extended by 1 week and sold out that in less than a couple of hours. So you could say that the off-Broadway run was a success, and many questioned whether or not the show was going to Broadway, tour, or possibly even a movie. Then the news came out that Beamwood Show was officially going to Broadway at the Lyceum Theater in February 2019. And as you can see from this video, the cast was super excited and emotional, and so were the fans. It's February 13th, 2019, and it's the first preview of Beamwood Show. A sold-out crowd, enthusiastic fans, and a very well done production by the entire cast and crew. The show premiered to 98% capacity, which basically meant that 98% of seats were filled, and it had multiple sold-out shows. It broke the Lyceum Theater House record for a 7-day performance. To say that the critical reception to the Broadway production of Beamwood Show was divisive is a bit of an understatement. The show had your critics that loved it and critics that hated it. There are people like the New York Times that panned it, and the Wall Street Journal that said it was one of the strongest musicals of the decade, and news says it speaks to a new generation. But despite the various media coverage that the show got, along with publications and major news magazines, the show failed to gain traction with the Broadway audience and fell significantly at the box office, especially in May after it did not receive any Tony nominations except one for Joe Iconis for score. My theory is that Be More Chill fans simply cannot afford to get to New York. Transportation is super expensive, along with hotel pricing and cabs and food. New York is not cheap by any means, and it's a very expensive trip. But then you ask, well, how did it sell out off-Broadway? And the reason why it was able to sell out off-Broadway is because the theater that it was at, which I think was the Pershing Square Signature Center, the Irene Diamond stage, seats less than 300 people, which means that at the most 290 people could fit in that theater. And again, only a couple hundred Be More Chill fans could actually get to New York and pay the expensive amount of money for transportation and ticket prices. And they had to work very hard to get those tickets. An article by Forbes magazine entitled Broadway's Viral Hit, Be More Chill Searches for Its Authenticity, was basically an article talking to the creatives and producers and marketing team on how they really didn't know how to market Be More Chill. And what I meant by that is that no one really knew why it was so popular, and they didn't know how to market it. Did they market it as a 90s sitcom? Did they market it as a sci-fi teen musical melodrama? They really didn't have a clue, and they were still trying to figure it out. And let me tell you one thing. If you don't know how to market a show and it's on Broadway, that is a huge warning bell, and it's something that should be taken care of immediately. And they did try through their fan promotions and tickets discounts along with new TV commercials, but nothing seemed to really work. Word of mouth with audiences that were adults were not very strong. See, while many adults did enjoy Be More Chill, it seemed like more of a minority than a majority. The average Broadway ticket goer is a 40-year-old female, and those kind of people like to see something like Moulin Rouge or property that they know and won't feel like they wasted their money on. See, a lot of people don't want to take chances on Broadway shows purely because it's very expensive and they want to get their money's worth. And they don't want to see a show that they have no idea what it's about, but instead see a show that they do know what it's about and they know they're going to get their money's worth. The show went to the Tony Awards, but didn't even get a performance, and there's that whole parody situation, but we're not going to go over that in this video. Anyways, in June of 2019, Be More Chill officially announced that they were closing through what is, to be honest with you, the most heartbreaking thing since Endgame. I mean, just look at this photo, and after seeing Broadway Here I Come, I mean, if I'm going to be honest, this was more sad than Endgame, and I know I said that already, but it is true. August 11th, 2019, the final performance of Be More Chill, and as you can see, almost every single number got a standing ovation. Even though Be More Chill didn't work on Broadway, I think its legacy will be bigger and have more of an impact than its actual run or any other show running this year. Because you see, shows like this are cult favorites and with time grow into something more phenomenal than anyone could ever imagine. Like Rocky Horror Picture Show or Merrily We Roll Along, shows that were panned but are now considered great musical classics. I hope you enjoyed the video and now know why Be More Chill closed, in my opinion. Just know that this show has made a positive impact on so many people and has done so much for me and so much for so many other people. I mean, just look at the passion and joy on this stage. Do you know of any other show that can create this energy, this impact, this legacy? Personally, I can't. And I don't think any other show will. Thank you.